Hello, and thanks for watching another episode of ARFCOM News, your source for the finest 2A propaganda, brought to you by TNVC.com. Today I want to tell you about how this dick is brazenly trampling the First Amendment. United States Senator and known Cylon operative Dick Blumenthal got together with these other scummy senators to publish a letter to Susan Worcestershire, High Commander of the Robot Overlords, on this tube here you're watching. The senator's letter snitches out several creators who posted content which the politicriters claim is in violation of YouTube policy. Now, firstly, the problem here isn't YouTube policy, or whether the videos in question break the rules. I firmly believe YouTube and other tech monopolies are engaging in behavior which is antithetical to some of the most fundamental values our culture holds dear. Freedom of expression isn't just about government censorship. Free people value a free marketplace of ideas, and when you tear a man's tongue out, you aren't telling the world he was wrong, you're telling the world you fear what he has to say. But, as I said, this isn't about YouTube policy. This is about blatant government censorship. Now, of course, you gentle folk know the First Amendment does not restrict what YouTube may do, but it does restrict what public servants may do. And I think pressuring a company to suppress speech is an obvious and gross violation of the First Amendment. Authoritarians might argue it isn't because it's just a letter, not a law passed by Congress. I would argue any act taken by any government official with the intent of chilling speech is unconstitutional. But I'm not a lawyer, because there are some things even I wouldn't do for Klondike bar. So maybe there's somebody out there who has the knowledge who can tell me whether these 5 senators can be sued for violating the rights of the creators in the letter, and maybe by extension, the rights of all YouTube creators. What do you think? Can I sue this dick? It seems as though, at the very least, the creators targeted in the letter should be able to sue each of the senators for violating their First Amendment rights, but I could argue this letter violates the rights of every single person with a YouTube account because it's the government trying to tell me what I can say. Wouldn't that be something? I wonder if we could start a class action suit.
Hey, you! Do you want to see in the dark like a superhero? TNVC.com is your source for the finest night vision devices and accessories to make you the bump in the night.
This next one is straight bonkers. The Bellingham, Washington police say ironically named 60-year-old Joe Young was drinking and got pissed at his neighbor for burning trash, so he went to yell at him. But when the neighbor cussed at him, Young went back to his house and grabbed a shotgun and started blasting away with birdshot into the air, then went back home to drink more beer. Another neighbor called 911 on account of the exclamatory gunfire, and the sheriff's department responded. That's when Young came back outside waving that shotgun.
This is my boomstick!
He disregarded their commands to drop the gun and again started blasting, hitting both deputies before retreating to a covered and concealed position. Now at that point, things would have been pretty pear-shaped for the deputies, with both of them hit and bleeding and pinned down, but no less than 3 neighbors came out with their own guns to move the wounded deputies under covering fire to one of the neighbors' garages where they rendered aid. Thankfully, both deputies are stable and expected to recover, and no one else was hurt, and Young was arrested and charged with first-degree attempted murder. The best part, though? The name of the city this all happened in, wait for it, Peaceful Valley. I couldn't find any word on whether the armed neighbors used magazines that hold more than 10 rounds, but if control freaks in Washington get their way, standard capacity magazines will be illegal in the Evergreen State. So, whether or not you happen to live in Washington, please take the time to pause this video and call 800-562-6000 and keep up the pressure on House members to stop Senate Bill 5078. As of this recording, it has passed the Senate and is still in committee in the House, so ask to speak with any member of the House of Representatives. They can look up a politicritter for you based on zip code. Tell them magazine capacity restrictions have never resulted in crime reduction and instead place crime victims at greater risk. Tell them Regardless of whatever their own beliefs are on the subject, if they vote for SB 5078, you will campaign for their opposition in the next primary. That'll get their attention. Well, friends, that's all I have for you today. But before I go, I just want to stop and take the time to remind you to please check to see whether you are still subscribed to our channel. As I've told you many times before, our robot overlords and the tube of yous know what we want better than we could possibly know for ourselves, so they just go ahead and unsubscribe viewers from any channels they think are expressing wrongthink, like this one. Now, you folks out there in TV land know censorship makes puppies cry, and Captain America is very disappointed. So don't forget to stop and check every now and then just to be sure you're still subscribed to us. And while you're at it, make sure you ring that notification bell so you never miss a word of our gun rights propaganda. And if you want to get email alerts for the best deals, the projects we're working on, and the hottest stuff you missed on the ARFCOM forums, you'll also find a Linktree link down there in the doobly-doo for our newsletter. Remember, if you want to help us keep bringing you banger content like this, please support the folks who support us. Not only does TNVC.com give you night vision with that cool, refreshing, never bitter taste that goes down smooth, they also have mounts, lights, training, swag, and all sorts of other fat-free gear to make you the bump in the night. I love you.